Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter. This is Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 3, Episode 19. It's called Failed Experiments. Full spoilers for the episode as follows. As always on this show, there was Kree.
It was. This was an interesting episode.
There was lots of Kree kicking about in this one. Well, I say a lot. Two in a flashback, but still, it was more than usual.
Yeah, more than I expected.
Two's a lot when you've been used to none for a long time. Yeah, this was an interesting episode. I think it was solid, but not as good as the last two.
I'd agree with that. There's a few things that particularly drag it down for me.
I think the first thing that drags it down a little bit for me is that the Kree themselves did feel a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
The shots of them just sort of wandering around a small town with their weapons.
The big axe things.
Just look sort of, I was like, this feels like something out of a Monster of the Week episode of Buffy.
Yeah, that's the exact feeling I had when I was watching it.
Don't get me wrong, I love Buffy.
But it just doesn't work in this show, does it?
I mean, I do a podcast about Buffy the Vampire. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it just it cuts to that from that to the dark lit room with Coulson debating what it needs to do with Hive, and then it cuts to Hive talking to Sky and philosophizing and
even later on, the one where it's fighting Hive, it still looks goofy when it's fighting.
Yeah.
But then you cut to Daisy fighting with
Mac,
and it's like, Jesus, just look at the contrast.
And the emotion in that fight is really good, and it's a really strong fight. And then it cuts back to the Kree fighting.
Which it's cool enough. It doesn't look bad. It looks out of place in this show.
Yeah, it feels a bit goofier than the rest of the tone that we're going for. I think the way to do it would have been to treat them a bit more like. Have you seen Prometheus?
I haven't, but I can kind of guess where you're going with this already, to be honest.
It was the way they treat the engineers in Prometheus. I think maybe they should have treated the Kree a little bit more like that, because they made them feel like just sort of big dumb grunts in this episode.
Yeah, I feel like perhaps a little bit more tact on their part, not just storming in and killing everything in sight. A bit more from the shadows. Maybe Jurassic Park it a little bit.
Yeah, treat them like they're more xenomorphs, and not even xenomorphs. Treat them like predators, like the Predator. Have you seen Predator?
No, I've seen bits.
Oh my god!
I've seen enough to get the gist.
See, try to compare stuff to movies when you're around.
I know.
It's stressful.
Action movies specifically. It's just like,
Right, well, Connor's got homework for next week, and it's to watch Predator and. I mean, admittedly, Prometheus is not essential viewing, but I mean,
I heard enough shit about Prometheus that I didn't go and see it. I was like,
I think it's still worth watching. I think you'll like the visuals.
I probably will. I heard later on I've heard better stuff, but then the general public reaction kind of put me off.
I think the hype before it came out was what killed it, because we were hoping it'd be this amazing thing, and it ended up being very flawed. But I think it's still watchable.
It's something I've been meaning to watch for a while, just something around.
Not to tangent into Prometheus though. We are here to talk about S.h.i.e.L.D. And like we say, I think the highlight of the episode was the Mac Daisy fight.
Oh, easily.
Really good stuff. Him trying to reach through to her, thinking that she'd intentionally left a breadcrumb for them to follow.
Yeah. I straight up thought she was going to kill him as well at one point.
Yeah, I was a little worried that she was about to kill him. And luckily, May stepped in.
Fucking no hesitation on her part. Fucking, you're taking this fucking bullet.
I was just shooting their arm, though. It was a very deliberate, accurate shot.
Yeah, but no hesitation. Just straight.
Well, May doesn't hesitate. She's...
Actually, I think May was my second favourite part of this episode. Calling everyone on their shit.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, she's called Mac on his shit, calls... Lincoln on his shit.
Yeah.
And I liked her flirting with the Australian guy.
So good.
Yeah. Especially since he mentions he's in his 30s, and I'm like, May's 50.
Yeah, she's like 51, something like that. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, she looks damn good for her age.
She really does.
I did not know she was that age until I'd seen her age on IMDb.
Yeah, you would never guess.
Like a year ago. But because I know she's actually 50, it's just amusing that he's like going out of his way to flirt with someone, and I'm like, she's like 15 years older than him.
But I really like that scene in general, because she completely puts on a different voice and everything. It's just complete transformation.
Yeah, she's
until she smacks him with a pool cue.
Yeah, Yeah, I was all. If anything, I'm almost a little bit disappointed it was that simple of a knockout blow. I was hoping for more of a beatdown.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
uh,
You've come to expect more from me.
yeah, I expect her to take no prisoners, you know.
Yeah.
But so we had that, and we had John Hannah working for Hive, trying to recreate the failed experiments to create inhumans, because that's Hive's plan. He wants to turn all the humans into inhumans. And by the way, props to the very disgusting visual effect of it failing on that first batch of
And
people.
them just melting.
Yeah, that was pretty gruesome looking. So props to that. I like a
I
good.
thought the effects in general look really good. It like you know when the box shoots down at the end.
Ah, yeah, the evac box.
Yeah, I thought it actually looks pretty decent.
It does. Joe, that felt like to me. That felt very video game like to me. I felt like they were in XCOM, and
Yeah.
that's like the evac coming down, so they can.
I know what you mean. I had a similar feeling as well. It's just like, where's my controller?
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting feeling. But no, I like that. I like that. I like the small moment of Coulson in his office, like just watching the facial recognition software scanning, and it sort of time lapses around him, and you see like everyone moving in and out, but he's just sort of sitting there waiting for a match. You know, everyone's so intent in finding and helping her. And Lincoln, the daft sod, injects himself with something that may be a cure but might kill him.
At this point, I'm kind of hoping it just kills him.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did not kill him, but it also did not cure anything. So
I will say, considering he's supposed to be in quarantine because a sneeze might kill him, Simmons does not have a very good quarantine protocol. She could be bringing fucking anything in with her.
I think she's pissed off enough at him that she's willing to risk it.
That's a good point. She's like, a fucking sneeze is going to kill you. You know, you could pick up anything and you're just going to drop dead.
If anything,
she's just walked in with fuck knows what.
If he took a step in her direction, if I was her, I'd have started just sort of like I feel a cough coming on Lincoln here.
Yeah.
And just, you know, make him stay back. I like Fitz and Simmons having a disagreement, and then the little conversation, like while they were like making food, like, are we all right? I mean, you know, and they have a nice conversation about not letting that affect their relationship if they're disagreeing about work. But I like when she brings up an old boyfriend, and he's like, "Oh, that cabbage head prick. I didn't like him."
She's like, "It was a sprout head."
Yeah, but I liked just their relationship banter. It's good. I like it.
It's to be expected at this point from them. They're just, you know.
It is, but it adds a whole new dynamic to them bickering while they're working.
It does.
They're in a relationship. I think it adds an extra layer that I quite like. So that's pretty cool. What else was there? There was
the really awkward Civil War line that made me cringe.
Ah, yeah, they had to name drop Civil War.
That made me cringe so hard. He's like, "Oh, we can't have all be billionaires and have iron suits, or the military get as super soldiers. I see a civil war coming." I was like,
Yeah, that did stick out a bit to me. Speaking of his whole plan, though, John Hannah, I enjoyed his him in this episode. I liked how he, like, he's basically asking for permission to get started, and Hive gives this speech, and then he basically says, "So is that a go then? Is that a go ahead?" Like, I love his like, yeah, fuck, I don't care about your speech. I want to press the button. Come on.
I really liked him with Hive in general. You know, after it failed, and he was like, "You knew this was happening." He's like, "Well, I thought it might."
But I thought I'd give it a go anyway. You know,
it was worth a shot.
It's like I could just take over your body and I'd have all your memories and knowledge. Like, aye, but you don't want to do that. I had a very bad childhood. Good. Something you pointed out to me. You got a nice little screenshot before we started talking. The flashback at the start to whoever Hive was when he was human, back like 1,000 years ago, whenever it was, and he appears to be in Africa, hunting, and the markings on this guy's body, like the sort of the designs he's got on his arms and his neck specifically, are identical to the designs on the Black Panther costume from the movie.
Yes.
I thought that was
does make you wonder if he was a Black Panther of his day.
That's pretty much what I'm thinking, because if this is, I mean, we won't spoil Civil War because obviously it's not out in the US yet, so you know.
But Black Panther was a character, you know.
No, but I'm saying in the movie,
yeah.
he specifically had a line about The Black Panther mantle's been something that's been passed down for
Yeah,
generations and
from
generations.
warrior to warrior, I
Yeah.
think it is. And this
So-
guy was clearly a warrior of some sort.
So, to me, that's basically saying he was a Black Panther about 1,000 years ago,
Yeah.
which is interesting. So it's a nice little connective
Much,
tissue.
much better reference than the Civil War line.
Much better reference in the Civil War line. I agree with that. Although that does mean to me then that they're not doing the whole wraparound. This episode had a setup thing for the movie, and then next week next week makes still reference what's happened.
Yeah, but I kind of hope it doesn't, in a way.
I don't mind if it doesn't happen next episode. I feel like they probably should mention it.
I feel like it could happen next season now, like the start of next season. Could open next season dealing with it.
Yeah, you could just say that this entire season's set before that happens in the movies, yeah.
Because this feels like a very condensed period of time now at the end.
Yeah, I can see that. I can even see the sort of the little moment of this is about to happening in the season final. They'll just have a little tag. Like they'll end and you get a little post-credit scene, and it'll be like, wait, what's this in the news? What?
Yeah.
Iron Man and Captain America fighting?
Yeah, I'd be alright with that. Because it would still only be, a week after release, that one? Because there's only one episode left and then the final.
No, 2 episodes and then the final. No, 1.
The final's a double, so it's 1 and then...
Is it 22 episodes or 23 episodes? That's what's confusing
22.
me. And that was 19, so there's 20 and then double. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be a week late. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. So that's pretty much it. And then they solved the whole problem by Daisy realising she's got the Kree blood in her from season 1.
Yeah. I actually really like that they're bringing that back, and because it kind of feels... Season 1 in general kind of feels very forgotten about. And there was another reference as well where she says, I used to be a hacker and you were an engineer and
She
or
even
mechanic.
mentioned Rising Tide.
Yeah. I think I complained a while ago that it feels like they've forgotten that she was a hacker and that it's kind of just moved on entirely from some...
You say that, but there was a few episodes ago she was hacking.
It was, and I think that might have been where I mentioned it, where it was like, oh, it was nice to see for the first time in God knows how long. And then them referencing all these things, it's like, yeah, okay, this did actually still happen, because it almost feels like I need to be reminded.
Yeah, I wasn't that bothered by that. It just felt like a long time ago. I didn't really feel like they'd forgotten anything. It just wasn't relevant, and now it's relevant a bit more.
Just stuff like the fact that she was a hacker. I feel like they've gone with, now we're giving her superpowers. That's much better. Fuck her being a hacker.
It just makes sense that other people would do that now if she's busy actually being on squads and going out and doing missions. And they did mention she helped design the facial recognition software that found her in this episode.
They did. That's what I'm saying. This episode did a lot to remind us. More than most.
All right. Do you have a point to?
Just that it's nice to see, and I'm wondering if they're actually going to bring back in some hacker elements to her character on a bit more of a regular basis.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. this week, so let us know what you thought in the comments below. Excited for the final and the second last episode, and let us know. And like and subscribe and all that jazz helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.